Why? Because I ain't shit. Anyway, so like I said, but I agree with you on like buying yourself gifts and stuff. I mean, that's what I was telling Catherine earlier. I'm looking at e-bikes and conversion kits. I'm getting damn well I don't need it, man. I'm just like, but I need to treat myself. I gotta do consumer therapy, 100%. But there's no other way. Meditation, whatever. Journaling, who cares? Buying a brand new Apple Watch, priceless. That should be the new MasterCard slogan, bro.
Well, also, one thing that people don't take for granted with the holidays is that a lot of people are shit gift givers. So we should change Christmas to where you're just buying yourself gifts, you wrap them up, and you open it in front of your family and friends and during Christmas. You're always like, no way, a PS5, you shouldn't have. And it's just you opening your own gifts. If everybody did that, then everyone's going to be jealous, but they're also going to be happy that they got what they wanted. That's why when I go to my family, I'm just like, hey, just send me money because then I'll buy what I want instead of you having to be like, oh, well, what size do you want that in, or what color? Like, just let's cut out the middleman. Let's cut that out. Get me a gift card, and we're all happy.
And
That
people send
reminds
money to.
me, my friend has a 2-year-old, well, almost two, and she was saying that he won't like remember Christmas and doesn't understand opening presents. So she just wrapped stuff from her pantry. He's just gonna open it and like his own toys. So he has like a little baby car, and she was like, "I wrapped baby car up. He's gonna open baby car on Christmas."
So I guess money can and can't buy you happiness. It depends. It depends on the age. It depends on the place. But anyways, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. Welcome to the Unsolicited Counseling Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm your boy Jermaine.
This your boy Martin.
And I'm Catherine.
And today we have a special treat for you guys. We were on a little break last week, but we'll talk about that in a few moments. But we got a good episode for you guys. We're gonna be talking about 2024 intentions, predictions, mantra, resolutions, whatever you want to call it. We manifested this shit. 2023 has been ups and downs in the world and into individuals, but for me personally, it's been a good year. But I'm really into it. I'm excited for next year. It's all coming up. So before we get into that, well, you know how we always start. We always ask, "How you doing?" So, Catherine, how you doing?
I'm good. A little tired, getting ready to head home to Virginia tomorrow, early in the morning. Since I saw you guys last, I went to Asheville with the girls from yoga and had a little outing, which was really fun. I've been doing weight training lately. Pretty exciting. I got a new one for your grip. I'll show you guys later. Um,
I think my grip's pretty good. I don't know about you, Jermaine, but my grip is solid. Sorry, go ahead. Especially being in this damn hotel. Anyway, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
and happy to see you guys. But I hate you both. So.
Love hate relationship.
Yeah. How are you doing, Martin?
You know, I look like I'm doing great, but internally I am dying. Unfortunately, guys, I got COVID over this past week, and that's part of the reason why we didn't have an episode last week. The other reason is because I was on a boat. I went on a cruise. It's kind of like a late birthday gift to myself. I'm doing a whole bunch of treat yourself lately to the tune of probably close to $3,000 at this point. Like it's a problem. Retail therapy is a bitch. So as much as I can say, hey, I think it's good for you. At the same time, don't live how I live because I'm scared to look at my Capital One credit card. To be honest with you. But all in all, I'm doing pretty good. Really excited to be back on the podcast with you all. Uh, I learned a lot during my time on the cruise, and have some growth that I did on the cruise and growth that's going to help lead into 2024. So really excited about this episode. How you doing, Jermaine?
I'm doing fantastic. Like I said, like last week, Martin was enjoying his time away, so it actually gave me time to just breathe and reflect on 2024. I've been doing good since the last time you saw me. I've been home, visiting family, preparing for Christmas, wrapping. I love this time of year. It's my favorite time of year. pumping Mariah Carey, Michael Bublé, all of them, straight no chaser.
Mm.
You
You had me
know,
in the
as
first
I
half, not gonna lie.
look, I'm just saying, man, like drinking eggnog, the eggnog game has been on fleek and everything. But other than that, still on my still doing what I'm doing. I don't like saying on the grind. I'm still working on myself. Still on that streak. I think I'm at 35 days or something like that on the streak
Paleo.
for journaling for Dalia. Yeah. And yeah, still pursuing my goals, Spanish, game development, all that stuff. Hung out with had a winter Christmas party at work. Hung out with some people I haven't seen in about 3 to 5 months or something like that. So it's been a good week and a half since we got last talk. I'm in a very good mental place. I just want to keep this going. It's just great. We're gonna get into that, but like Mara said, this year has helped me prepare myself for next year, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about that. But before that, we gotta get something in us. Y'all know we know. We're gonna talk about what we drinking. So, all right, go ahead and
Pause.
make the
Sorry,
drink.
I was like, pause. Gotta get something in us.
Hey
Pause.
yo, so yesterday I made a comment and I was like, oh, I gotta stick this in my throat,
Oh,
and I'm
Why
like,
would you ever say that
so I
out
was
you know
ready.
we're
loud?
recording, right? You know we're recording, right? We'll
So
get it in post.
we'll get it in, but it wasn't that way. It wasn't like that. It was because I was doing a drill with my martial arts teacher. And it still doesn't sound right. Get your mind out of the gutter, guys. I'm talking.
So I was in the Catholic Church, right?
All right, so look, I was praising Jesus, and I got on my knees, and then all right. Anyways, we're gonna talk about what we're drinking. You guys are disgusting, but we're gonna talk about what we're drinking. I'm gonna start because I need y'all to handle yourselves. All right, so what I'm drinking is a gingerbread porter from Hardywood. It's a brewery in Richmond, Virginia. Catherine, I need you to get it together. You're turning red. Look, you gotta focus, okay? You gotta focus. All right, so the gingerbread porter is an imperial porter with ginger, vanilla, cinnamon, and honey. It's 9.2% alcohol, lactose free. It's from Hardywood. It's in Richmond, Virginia. Here's the can. It's one of their Christmas beers. Gingerbread on it. Great beer. I love getting Hardywood beers and during the winter because they have the stouts, porters, and they have 3, 4 different type of porters. I mean stouts. Best time of year among eggnog and Christmas decorations and stuff. This is my Christmas tradition. Drinking Harwood, 100%. Like this, 9.5. Like I love this. I love everything. I don't even like porters, so this is one of the worst beers. Like out of the pack, there's a gingerbread stout and a Christmas morning stout and a Christmas pancake stout, and all of them are way better than this, and this is still a 9.5 or a
Nice.
9.2. I'll give it a 9.2. So, hands down, if you can't get this in your area, get Hardywood. Any of the gingerbread, the Christmas stuff. I love it. Great stuff. All right, Martin, what you drinking?
Well, as I've already alluded to, I am very, very sick. But one thing that's saving my life is emergency. Emergency with turmeric and ginger. You can find this at your local CVS or your grocery store or wherever you get your health supplies. It is single-handedly saving me because I have been drinking this nonstop since I found out that I had COVID. And the first time I had COVID, my symptoms were horrible. I had chills, I had a fever, I felt like miserable the entire time. Now it just kind of feels like I have a cold, and it allows me to just sit here in this hotel room and play Mario RPG. And like I'm relaxed, I can do this podcast. And low key though, I'm enjoying the time to myself. I mean, I love my wife. I do miss her dearly. Like, I just saw her for like 2 days and I'm gone again. But at the same time, like the alone time, the space to think and breathe and reflect has been very helpful. So that's going to give this a higher rating than it needs to be because it honestly tastes horrible, but it's saving my life. So we're going to give this an 8.3 out of 10. If you're sick, if you have COVID, if you need to stay hydrated, you need some electrolytes, get yourself some emergency right now. Like, right now.
This episode's full of bloopers. Catherine, what are you sipping on?
I just have a red wine from Trader Joe's, French Cab Syrah. It's actually not my favorite. I took a risk on this one. I hadn't had it before. So, I'm gearing up. Also, I'm gonna join you guys with dry January. So I figured I'd squeeze in a little red wine before that. Uh, and this one is pushing me towards dry January because it's not very good.
One of us. One of us. One of us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Uh,
What would you give it then? If it tastes like shit, what would you give it?
4.6.
4.6. Okay. Okay. It's not like this tastes like sick. Shit. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Okay. That's
Yeah.
solid.
Well,
That's good.
before we got into the podcast, we were talking about being honest and being truthful. And one of the things that Catherine just did there was say, hey, this is shit. I'm going to make sure it's not above the 5 threshold, and gave it a 4.6. So kudos to you. Speaking of being honest, how are you guys doing in the dating world? Because I just found out something crazy.
Oh.
I was on the interwebs. I was on the Instagram and the Facebook and all that stuff, and I heard that Tinder has a $500 a month plan that lets you just chat people and message people without having to swipe. Like, there's no swiping. You pay 500.
Wow.
It's unlimited talking to anybody. It's only to 1% of the population they have the ability to use this plan. But if you had the resources, do you think you would do that?
No.
All right. Go. You go in your. You say what you want to say, Catherine. Then I'm thinking. Why would
Uh,
you?
no. Well, everything else aside, $500 a month is actually insane. Uh, but no, I would not. I was just reflecting recently, my like extremely short stint on dating apps. I really did not like it and have no inclination to go back at all for
Yeah.
so many reasons, but like there's no way I would pay that much money just to talk to people.
Mm.
Yeah. I would say, other than the fact $500, because my goal for the next year and probably the year after is to obliterate my debt. $500. If I would use that, I would buy I don't know, an electric bike that I always wanted. Travel anywhere I want. I have other things I can do. I don't know, buy shit that I want to have that I know I don't need to have, like a bow and arrow because I'm doing archery. Dumb shit like that, or like a new bowling ball. The sky's the limit. But yeah, I would say with Catherine, I would also say
A bowling ball?
well, she likes bowling balls. I bowled in lunchtime. So look, we got balls. We got talking about throats. Look, all I didn't say was eating ass. So it's all I'm blaming.
Man,
Uh,
there goes the Holy Trinity right there.
the holy trip.
Okay, it does make me think a tiny bit, and I won't go off on a deep tangent, but since I've been watching Married at First Sight, I was thinking, like, when do you get to the point of, like, a matchmaker says that this is your match, and so I'll go as far as to marry you because I want that, like, relationship companionship. And it's like, I
Yeah,
just don't picture myself ever getting to that point.
I think it's like I don't know, man. This is a whole. I think this is a podcast in itself.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I would to hold off for maybe another episode is I would say no. At the moment, like dating apps for me just ain't it. Like I feel like I'd rather take my chance, and I feel like my growing has been more away from dating apps. I can go back to it eventually. I don't know, who knows, but at this very moment, no. And $500, hell no. Like there's no way. And then this is another thing to keep people in a certain range because, like, unless you can pay this much money, you don't have access to this. And then that's also a reflection of that person's wealth, right? If they just came in and you see this dollar, like some people, it's like, oh, I need my man to make 100,000 a year, or I want a sugar mama. Then they're like, okay, I don't even care if we're not a match. I'm going for it because I know they got money. Anyways, but yeah, I think like you said, it's a whole other episode in on itself.
Wait, but Martin, if you reflect back to like your single dating days, would single Martin pay $500 to do it?
500 no. I'm trying to. So while you guys were talking, I was trying
Unlimited
to.
resources.
Right. So, I mean, even still, no. Like, I was. because like kind of similar to what Jermaine said, that money can go to something else that I have more value in. I told my wife all the time that if me and her ever divorce, like I'm just going to be single forever because the peace of mind and like the clarity I have not having something like that it's just peaceful being able to do your own thing, not have to worry about someone else. Like it's like added stress being in a relationship. Um, now let's take this back. I had the perspective of being married to have that kind of thought, like, oh well, yeah, I think I would have been fine if I didn't get married. Not saying that I'm not happy. I'm very happy with my wife, and I miss her.
Please add that
Add
in
that
there.
disclaimer. Add that disclaimer. But yeah, I don't think that it would be for me. Same thing with the matchmaker. Like I couldn't get to that point. I would probably make deals with some of my female friends, like, hey, when we get to the age of 40, if we have no one else, we'll figure this out. We don't have to love each other. We just need to get this
We
done.
just need to hang out, and I think with an
Yeah.
occasional booty call, and I think that's okay. Like,
Yes, exactly. The occasional booty call.
I think that's a fine
It'd be open.
conclusion.
I feel like that's why people get into open relationships. They like have a friend that they're like, hey, at the age of 30, 35, we don't find anybody to get together, but also we're not with each other.
Actually, a couple or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're like trying to marry someone to keep them in the States or, for visa purposes. I don't know. I feel like those are the different options that you have.
Department of Homeland event.
I've been watching a lot of 90 Day Fiance, so I feel like none of the couples in this year's season is going to get through. But that's not this episode. Let's get back to the main focus of this episode, and we're talking about our goals, or I guess our mantras for 2024. And since she did her homework, Kath, I'm going to turn it over to you. Do you want to explain the inception of this episode and the concepts?
Yeah. Well, I've been thinking about this a lot, just in general. But earlier today, Martin shared one of those like word scrambles with us where you look at it and the first words that pop out are your mantras. And I actually thought it was really interesting because the ones that yeah, interesting psychology behind it, but the ones that I found are actually the ones that I had been thinking about focusing on for 2024. So when I looked at the little word scramble, uh, which I guess, are we going to link on this
Yeah, we'll
episode?
link it.
We're gonna link it. We're also gonna have it. We're gonna post it on the Instagram so that everyone can play along and they can figure out what their 4 mantras are for the year 2024. So it'll be available to you. We'll also put it on the YouTube video so you guys can see what we're referencing.
Thanks, guys. So my 4 words were connection, health, gratitude, and strength. And connection was actually one of the ones that I had written on my little list that I had been working on.
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh.
yeah, I feel like for me, 2023 was really, really tough. Uh, and out of like just trying to figure things out, I formed a lot of like really meaningful connections and reconnected with a lot of people. And so my main focus for 2024 was to keep nurturing those and just expanding on other connections. Yeah,
Yeah. And can
I
you
have.
talk about, because I know you said that you made like a list, what is it, goals or intentions? Can
Mhm.
you elaborate on that too before me and Martin goes into our like mantras? Maybe we can talk, expand as well.
Yeah. So I came up with like this was inspired by the studio where I've been practicing yoga. Um, but I came up with one word just to kind of like center myself on for 2024 and like make sure that everything comes back to that word in some way. And the word that came to me for this year or this upcoming year is pure. And I'm really big into definitions right now, so I defined it, and it means not mixed or adulterated with any other substance, without extraneous and unnecessary elements, clean and free from harmful substances. And so my
Mm,
goal is just to make sure that I am like purely myself and that all the connections I have really just kind of highlight that. I'm trying to avoid anything that's harmful.
sure.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Martin, do you want to like add on your mantras, like talk about your mantras and like what it meant to you when you saw them?
Yeah, so similar to what Catherine said, I played the word scramble game, and she mentioned there's some psychology behind it because I felt like all of mine's related to what I anticipate for 2024. So the four that I came up with was money, strength, love, and miracles. Miracles sounds a little hippy dippy to me, so I was like, I don't know about that one. But the money, strength, and love really resonated with me. Money because I've always, I'm very money conscious. That's just who I am as like a natural person. Like I always want to make sure that I make enough money or earn enough money or budget the right amount of money so that I don't have to struggle. I mean, we've had episodes in the past where we talked about how our upbringing and how, yeah, I didn't have much. So I don't want to put myself in a scenario where I'm worried or stressed out about money. So anything I can do to promote myself to work harder to get to a point where money's not a question. Like right now, like I told them before the podcast, I just spent $750 on a watch. But
You son of a bitch.
I'm like,
I
money
just
comes,
bought
money
a
goes.
$9 band because this shit fell apart. Like I was like, I ain't buying $30 from Garmin. Fuck that. I'll get the at the market.
Well, even like they even gave me the wrong band too with it, and I was just like, man, I'm about to just buy a new band. I didn't do it because I was like, for some reason that $30 felt like too much money.
Bro, it's just what's another drop in the bucket?
And I was like, all right, there's too many things fall in the bucket. Fuck you, Catherine. So also, so money is a big thing where I don't want to struggle. But if I had one word that I wanted to dedicate to 2024, I would have to say it is strength for me. And strength in many ways. Strength to pursue my passions, strength to, cut people off that aren't serving me, strength to even push myself beyond where I am today. Like 2023 has taught me a lot where I want to use 2023 as a springboard to push me into 2024 because I've done a lot of growing and I've kind of found my passions and I just want to continuing to water those seeds and hopefully, blossom into a greater 2024. Man, that was gross. Anyway,
Look at that profound language, the poetry. Look at this
and
dude.
think that I didn't prepare anything for this episode. I'm just winging it. Man, what?
Off
Anyways,
the top of the dome.
Kanye could never. What about you, Jermaine?
So I also did the word scramble thing game, and I actually found this very interesting because some of the words that came out was very, I don't know, it seemed like they were all tied together. I can only speculate. I'm probably going to meditate on these words eventually, but I feel like this is good. The mantras I got were love, connection, self care, and change. And to go off the connection, I also agree with both of y'all when it comes to connection. I think my connections, because of 2023, it's more like I have more of a realization of the connections I do have, and I'm more grateful to them. And this is not just connections with like friends because I feel like that's very strong, but even like the small things and with my family too, and the connections and the strength of bonds that I've gained through this time. With or without wanting it, like there are some situations where it's like a connection kind of sprung on me, and also I made connections through random strangers that are now I feel like very good friends, and the connections that I had before in the past, like my old connections, have been so much stronger now. So I want to continue that because I feel like connections with people are so strong. Self care, I think that's just a continuous. Um, but I think it's deeper. Pause it. Do that. All right, technical difficulties. So, Catherine's video went out, but we're back. We're back.
Yeah, don't
Um,
leave me behind, guys.
no, no, no. So
Doing
yeah, and then like I was talking about the self care portion, I feel like it's deeper than just like regular like medication and meditation and journaling. I think it's deeper in that I'm caring for myself, and I had a realization earlier this week that I actually know who Jermaine is, and that was a crazy groundbreaking discovery and change. And I think that just goes alongside all that stuff. Is changing my outlook on myself, changing how I view the world, and changing my outset. So I think it's going to be a good year. To be honest, like for me, 2023 was a roller coaster. It was a lot of highs and lows, but it definitely helped build a foundation for who I am, and I'm actually excited to see the outcome. So, um, now we mentioned our mantras. What mantra really spoke to you? I know Martin said like strength, and I want to talk, kind of move us towards our guiding like north
Well,
star, right, for the year. What's up, Martin?
yeah, so I did want to dig into something you were mentioning before we got cut off. You were talking about the importance of connection
Mm.
and how you've made a lot of friends in this year, and you want to make sure you have good connections with those people. I guess I struggle with that because I guess for me, connection is like genuine, true connection.
Oh,
It's not
100%.
just having attachment with a lot of different people. So, at what point for you do you think it's like, okay, this is a connection I need to keep keep this link strong? And what connection you're like, okay, this is a connection, but like I'm gonna keep you at a distance because I do think that there are people. I do know there are people in my life that I want a stronger connection with, but I wouldn't even know how to approach
Mm.
building that or fixing that.
So when I look at the connections, because I can talk about the connections I made, or like the Instagram, I'll call them Instagram friend, or Facebook friend. Like you went on a vacation, or vacation friends, right? If you ever seen Vacation Friends, funny movie, ain't that deep though. Um,
It's never that deep.
Never that deep. But like with those connections or the people that I met along the way, I feel like when it's a genuine connection is, I don't know, when you stop being bored talking. You're never bored talking to them, or they add value to your life. It doesn't have to be like a deep connection. Like I have a connection with my mentor. I really appreciate and care for him. But like our connection, it actually has gotten stronger over time. But it's the amount of work you put in, it's how much you water it, right? Versus like a give and take, or is it a give, a take and take, right? Are you just receiving that and you're just running with it? And with, like you said, with the connections that you find and nurture, I don't know, man. Like those connections that you want to really water and nurture, you gotta see if that person wants that too. Because then it's just you speaking to them and wanting that, but they're not there. So why even waste your energy on that, right? Not in a negative way, but
Right.
like
What do you think, Catherine? When you talk about strengthening your connections that you do have with people, can you elaborate on what that means for you?
Yeah, for me, I think that it directly correlates with like some self-worth, self-esteem um, aspect. Because I think that it's easy for me to not talk to people or reach out or strengthen connections because I'm not, or in the past haven't been like very confident in myself. Um, so yeah, I'm just trying to like kind of continue talking to people and like actively trying to spend time. I don't know, I'm having a hard time putting it exactly in words, but hopefully it makes sense. Like yeah, I'm just trying to not worry so much about what other people think of me and really just reach out when I have the bandwidth to someone to make a connection. Because in the past, I would have like spiraled a lot and been like, oh my gosh, I haven't texted them in
mm,
6 months. I can't reach back out. Or like, this person doesn't want to see this meme isn't funny. I don't know, stupid stuff like that.
that's good. I actually, Catherine, can I piggyback on you with
Yeah.
the connection thing? Like now that I think about it, or at least based on what Catherine was saying, it's like the making the effort to put out and give that like attention and connection to, and seeking that out, like watering it. That's how I see connections, like our connection. So like just this us in this podcast, I look forward to speaking to both of you guys, and I think connections start with knowing yourself and loving who you are. Because once you take all that out, like you know, Even me back in the, it was funny. I saw something on TV that reminded me of our freshman year, Martin. I don't know. I think it was a character that did Meow, and I was like, "Oh God, that's me." And I remember in college where I was so fixated on what people would think of me, the reflect their like them looking at me. I would try to change myself to fit that and to fit each and every person. So my connections were weak. The chain was weak because if you think of a chain, if you're trying to fit, you're trying to be malleable to each chain. It will never be strong because you're like, oh well, I need to change myself for this person, but I need to change myself for this person. You're not your authentic self. I think once you are you know who you are, that bond or your bond for yourself is very strong. That whoever you link to, if it works, if that link works, then that's I feel like the connection can grow from there. But you gotta find that connecting link because even if you know yourself, you can tell like, yo, this ain't gonna work. This person I know that's like, oh, this is a work friend. Oh, this is a person I know from a group or whatever. But you just know when you meet somebody, you're like, you're good people. I want to see where this goes.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, no.
No, I do have, I definitely want to talk about this more though, because I see what you're saying, Martin, and it's something that I've been struggling with too, like with some connections or friendships or relationships that aren't like, that don't feel balanced, but are still important to me. I've really been thinking a lot about like, is this a me thing or a them thing, and what do I need to do? And maybe it's just overthinking it at the same time, but that would be a good future episode too.
Yeah, I mean, one of the connections that I think about a lot. It sounds like I'm crying, but it's really because I'm sick. I think about it a lot. Is my
Look,
connection
man.
with my
Is your best friend Catherine?
Yeah, it
no,
is.
we already have a really strong connection. I can be mean to you, and you know that I don't really mean it. Or I hope you
Hmm.
don't think I mean it. We're gonna have a
Mm-mm.
conversation after this.
Mm-mm.
No, one of the connections that I think about in my life is my connection with my mother. Because growing up, I didn't really have a close relationship with my father or my mother. Like I knew that I can go to my mom for comfort, but it would be like surface level comfort. If this is like, I can't say, "Mom, I'm depressed." She's gonna be like, "Go to press those dishes." Like, it would be, it would never be anything deeper than, oh, someone said something happened, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like that would be that would be the end of it. Yesterday, actually, no, was it yesterday? I think it was Monday. Monday, something told me to just call my mom at like 11 p.m. It was like 11 p.m. late at night. And I just call her up. I was like, oh, I need to let her know I made it home safely from the cruise or whatever. Because she'd been texting me a lot, trying to get me to. She's like, hey, let me know if you're safe. Let me know this. And for me, I was just like, man, I'm an adult. She knows I'm good. Like, I'm like, maybe she doesn't know. Maybe she actually is trying to reach out and be caring and look after me. So I give her a call, and she was like, I was just thinking about you. I got off the phone with your brother, and I was going to call you. I didn't want to wake you up. I didn't want to bother you. And I was like, oh my God, does she think this way of me? Like, she's like scared or worried, like how something might rub on me. And I think part of that is me not having a strong connection with her and not really trying to. I think that
Mm.
a lot of that comes from growing up and how the situation was. But her being my only living parent, like I want to water that relationship. I want to get closer. And we talked on the phone for like an hour and a half. Like it was like midnight 30. I don't know why I
Oh
called it that,
wow.
but it felt right. But it was like 12:30, and we're still on the phone. I'm like, Mom, I gotta go to bed. I mean, I know I don't work, but like we were having a good conversation. She was talking about things happening in the church. She was telling me about how like things that are going on with my brother. She's talking about some projects he's working in the house, some self growth he's doing, and I was able to give her feedback on things that she's going through in her life. With one of my aunts, she's like, "Oh, this is going on. I don't know how to approach it," and I'm just like, you just gotta do this. And I was like, "Man, I feel like I'm counseling my mom."
Mm.
And that's not okay. One, because I'm not a counselor, but two, she's also trying to be like a life coach. She's working on that. So she's
Mm.
hearing me. She's hearing me out, and she's like, "Oh, thank you for being honest with me. Thank you for doing this." And I'm like, "This is a really healthy adult relationship." I wish I had this conversation before we did the episode about like having adults as your parents, being an adult with parents. But yeah, so those are some of the connections that I know. The connection didn't come out on my Ouija board or whatever,
On
but
your Ouija board. All
that's
right.
one of the
So,
things
but
that
let's talk about that. Was came up on mine. So, Catherine, didn't connections come up on yours?
Yeah, that was the first one that I found, and that had been like a word that I'd already talked about for
Right.
2024.
And then there was another one. Is that the your? I know you said pure. Why did you choose pure?
It seriously just came to me when I was journaling one day. Because I wasn't
Mm,
even sure I was going to do the one word thing. It seemed like it's not really up my alley. But I was working on some more like tangible, concrete things for 2024, like
mm,
building up a savings account and going hiking and visiting my granddaddy once a month, like things like that.
yeah.
Um,
So, do you feel like? And I'm not trying to tell you like how to feel, but do you feel like with this movement that you're having, and when it comes to yoga and stuff, that pure is like kind of like I know in like I know in religion, I'm not sure in yoga, but in religion it's like an atonement or like forgiveness of yourself. In yoga, is there like a forgiveness part of that as well, where it's like like basically like loving who you are, and through love you're not healed, but I guess like
it's kind of like
uh,
let it go.
yeah, like letting it go. Do you see that like as because I know you had a hard 2023 and a hard 2022, and I've seen the growth even on this podcast and off the podcast from you, and I see that maturity, and I was wondering is that pure kind of like letting go or letting go and accepting the things that happen to make you new, or
yeah,
even not even new, but you.
yeah. Uh,
I'm sorry. I'm doing the Dr. Phil. I got her crying.
I know you went deep.
That's what we
Uh,
all about. We all about getting deep. If y'all want to be on this
yeah,
podcast, let us know.
you just
But
stuck it
no,
right in
continue,
there.
Kevin.
Uh, yeah, I do. I have been thinking a lot about just like how I've always my goals, my thoughts, like happiness, things were always defined by outside things, like expectations from other people and what other people wanted. And so, yeah, I do think that there's an aspect of choosing the word pure that is like I said, just me. Um,
Mm,
Also, after I picked the word, I realized the next day I forgot that that's actually what my name means too.
wow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. I guess I'm soldier of God. I think that's what Michael means. I
Hey,
don't
Wait,
know.
can you make the fireworks happen?
I got you.
Yeah, thank you. That's what my name
That's
means.
like
Boom.
snaps.
Yeah.
Pio.
Drop the mic.
You should have keyed that up a little bit better. We should have teed it up. You should have been like, partner.
We'll get it in post.
We'll get it in post. We'll get it in post. And Martin, why do you feel like strength? I love pure as your guiding light, Catherine. So why do you say? Did you say strength is going to be your kind of north star this year?
I
Why
think
did you choose
that,
that?
well, strength was what came up, but while we're sitting on this pod, I've been thinking, I was like, what word do I really want it to be? And I think it's unapologetic. And
Mm,
Huh.
part of that is me just wanting to be genuine to me and just being honest. I guess kind of goes along with the pure mindset that Catherine was giving and just trying to be yourself and understanding who you are. But the other part of that is me not feeling the need to cater to others or cater to things that don't serve me, and like being I guess secure in that decision, saying like, hey, like this isn't what I really want. I don't need to fake who I am just to be around this group of people. I can just be who I am and be secure in who I am and surround myself with people who are like minded, who want to improve themselves, want to better themselves, and don't want to, just sulk in where they are. Like I have that growth mindset now, and I can't turn it off. So
yeah.
all I think about now is how to keep improving, how to work harder, how to gross, be better.
Right.
So I kind of want to surround myself with like-minded people in that regard, and also just being like I have a bad habit of and work. And I've never talked about this before. So at work, I have a bad habit of saying, I don't know if this is going to add value, but like I would start saying like that and like not being confident in what I say, even though what I think actually matters. So it's just like taking some of those buffering languages out of my day to day life for saying, I'm sorry if this hurts you, but like I just want to say how I feel. Not in a sense that's like going to tear someone down or belittle someone, but sometimes when you say, I'm sorry, you're not actually sorry about it. I don't know. It sounds very Kanye, and I'm not trying to come off that way, but you know how some people just apologize often. Oh, the double drink, the double sip. Yeah.
I was literally thinking that you're like, hey, yo, my man, full of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Damn. And unapologetically fuck both of you. That's my
you love
time.
us in all the best ways.
No, I do love you guys, and I want to keep on watering the friendships that actually serve both parties, and not water the connections that only serve one side or the other. Like I don't think that that's worth my time and energy, and just spending, I don't know, just I think it brings me more peace thinking that way, and it's hard. It's definitely going to be hard. It's going to be an adjustment. It's going to be change for me, but I want to live an unapologetic life, and hopefully all the steps that I've done this year will get me to that point where I don't have to be worried about people saying, "Oh, you're running. I would never do that," and like not care. Like, "Oh, you're not gonna drink." Like, "Oh, you're like ruining the night." I'm like, like sometimes, like even like on the cruise, like I got a drink package because I wanted to be I want to be people pleasing. Like I want to in that part of my life and just be like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing," and just being, finite in it.
Yeah.
What's up, Catherine?
Someone made a lot of fun of me when I wasn't drinking.
I
Well,
know. I was very toxic. I was a very toxic individual, and you should have called me out on it. You should have said I'm better than you, and I would have been like, "Damn, she's better than me."
no one's better than anyone. Everyone is different. Okay. Um,
There
I
goes the
just
people
want
pleasing.
to.
Sorry.
No, but I do like
No, I
I
just balance. No, go ahead. What are you gonna say, Catherine?
no, I was gonna say I like the word unapologetic as like
Yeah.
that mantra. That's a good one. Do you have a specific word or mantra, Jermaine?
I think I don't know. I gotta think about my actual mantra or word or whatever intention. But I really like change, and from the list that came up, love came up too. But I'm like, okay, yeah, this is my day, this is my year. Find love, or love myself or whatever. But I see change as more like, I'm trying to find the right word, but more like personal to me because through this time of like 2020. God damn, it's 2024. So between 2022, 2023, even like 2021, like this basically COVID. Like in my journals, I would say I'm grateful for it because I've changed so much. And in the change, I've learned who I am. Like I don't look at and be like, okay, like, am I the person Martin wants me to be? Am I the person Catherine wants me to be? Am I the person my mom wants me to be? I'm like, am I the person I want to be? And when I look at change, I look at that as like a caterpillar in a cocoon, right? Like getting in a cocoon, like 2000, 2021, 2023 was just me getting the cocoon, trying to get my shit together, right? Figuring out who I am and metamorphosis. Or better yet, a more nerdy example is I went from Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan regular Goku, and now I'm changing to Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. I see it as an evolution, but first I needed to find out who I was. So this change, I don't see it as like me changing who I am. I see it as an evolution. Another nerdy, Pokemon. Just evolving, and I see that as so profound for me because I never knew who I truly were. I was trying to be everything and everyone what everyone wanted me to be, and now that I'm 32, I actually know who I am, and I'm excited to see the changes that Michael Jermaine will make. Not Michael Jermaine that my mom wants. Not Michael Jermaine that Martin wants, not Michael Jermaine and Catherine, but who I truly want. And it took so long. And I'm like, 30 years is a long ass time. And it was a reflection of me thinking back of 10 years ago. I was 22, when I was 22. What was I like? 10 years before that, I was 12. What was I like? And all those ages up until 30 was catering to somebody. And I never knew how it was until now. So that change is just an indicative of what's going on, and I felt was so profound. And I was like, I'm excited. I like that, and I'm excited to see who I'll become. Like if I look through a photo from this year and see last year, I'm not gonna be like, damn, that dude sucked. I'm gonna be like, damn, he grew. And no negatives. It's only no L's. It's only lessons. God, I hate that, but yes, no L's, only lessons. So yeah, no, I like that. I like that as my North Star and connections. So, but yeah, that's
Yo, somebody needs to cue the Charles Bradley. I'm going through changes.
Is that we're
As
gonna put
long
that
as the whole
underneath?
time
We're
we've
gonna
been
do.
talking, that's gonna be the outro. This episode is gonna be changes.
All right, guys, as Martin mentioned, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We got really deep this episode, but we're in the last stretch of the year. We add some jokes, but we do really value this podcast and growing not only amongst each other but amongst all of you. So if you guys have done the mantra, please put your comments in the description, what you did, what lessons you learned in 2023, and what are you excited for 2024. Where can they put this information? Drop a like. Where can they do all this stuff?
You can find us at Unsolicited Counseling on Instagram. You can find us at Unsolicited Counseling Podcast on Facebook. You can find us on Unsolicited Counseling on YouTube, which I should have paired with IG, but giving myself grace. And you can send us an email at youadvicepodcast@gmail.com.
Awesome, guys. And please remember on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe. Share with a friend. Like if you see someone having struggles, want to prepare them, want to hype them up, want to make them cry, share this to them. Follow us on Spotify. But yes, as always, we're here for you guys. We love you guys. Here for you guys. One drink at a time, one episode at a time. Be easy, y'all.
Latest.
Punching out.